legend. All right.
This shit's fire.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another live Pin to Gas podcast on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. And you guys know the deal. This episode is sponsored by Next Level Financial. Take total control of your financial future. Get your complimentary financial needs analysis today with Seth Starnes. And Jason, I always tell everybody, don't buy an off-the-rack suit because for 90% of us, it's not going to fit you correctly. Jason, you know when it don't fit you correctly, man, it causes arm pump. It hinders your ride. Dude, everything about a motorcycle, okay? So what you guys need to do is go to bisontrack.com, get that full custom suit started. I just got mine in the mail. Well, it's been about 3 weeks now. I got my chest protector right here. My gloves. I'm super excited, Jason. Yes, it's my first custom suit, and it's absolutely amazing. So bisontrack.com, people. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor today to sit down with the legend himself, Jason Waters. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, buddy? I wish that was a true statement, but I'll take it.
It is a true statement. Absolutely it is. So, and actually you're at COTA right now.
Yep. Yeah, we're here for the Moto America stuff, so we're excited about that. It's my first time here, so I'm pumped on it. So.
Awesome. So did I assume you watched a lot of videos or maybe perhaps played PlayStation or Xbox to get familiar?
That's right. I busted out the PS5 and had to download the MotoGP game and did some laps on. I wasn't too good, so hopefully my actual skills on the motorcycle are better than my video game skills because I was terrible at it. So
yeah, I feel you on that. I'm not very good neither. I got a good buddy, Jack Hammersley. He's actually the 2023 Moto E World Champion, the video game in MotoGP. Nice, yeah. And watching them kids play, I'm like, dude, there's no way. Like I crash at least 30 times a lap. It's hard.
Yeah, well, that's how I get frustrated. I can't even put a lap because I can't even learn the track because I'm picking myself up off the ground on the game. So hopefully I could do better than that this weekend.
Absolutely, you will. Again, you're a legend. You will, 110%. But anyway, Jason, I want to get into it. Where did your journey begin with two wheels?
Super early. My dad put me on a JR50. My background's all motocross, dude. So I raced motocross my entire life. I really didn't do any racing until I was around like nine years old. I think my dad took me to a race. I think when I was around our local stuff, there wasn't a lot of kids on little 50s and stuff like that. So there was nobody for me to really race at the time. And then we moved up to like 60s, and then there was some guys I could race with because, we were on tight budget, so we had to stay close to home, and so that's kind of where it started. And I really kind of picked up the motocross stuff really heavily when around like, my teens, started going a little bit heavier on it, and then just really put my head down and did a lot of motocross. I mean, I did it at a very high level, all the way up to Loretta Lynn's, Mini O's, and up to the Nationals and stuff like that. So I traveled around a lot and did that when I could carry myself and do it, so I traveled out of a van just racing motocross, and that was my life for a long time. Just chasing that, just enjoying competing, and that's what I did for a long time. And then had a friend of mine, Jesse, got he kind of got a motocross bike and kind of was using motocross for cross training and road racing, and he lived in our area and kind of pushed me to, like, you should try road racing or whatever, because he was new to dirt bikes. So we'd go flying by him and he kind of give you that little poke. It's like, get on a road race bike and we'll see what you could do then. So it kind of lit a fire in me. I was like, I want to try this out, So kind of jumped on a road race bike. We went down to Jennings for the first track day ever that I've ever been on a road race bike. I've never spent any time on a street bike really at all. I had like a 636 a long time ago that I rode around the street. Like I broke a bone or whatever racing motocross, and was like, I'm going to get a street bike, and then everything heals up and you go back to racing motocross again. So it really didn't really put any effort into the road racing stuff or street stuff at all. Just kind of put all my effort into motocross forever. And like I said, motocross was very much on the downhill slope for me, just was kind of bored just doing it because, that's what I knew. I know motorcycles. That's been my life, outside of, work and that sort of thing. But motorcycles have been my entire life, and competing, racing, and that sort of thing. So motocross was definitely was kind of doing it, going through the motions, because that's kind of was my life. That's what I knew. And then, we tried the road racing thing, went down to Jennings and just did a track day. And it was kind of funny because we did it. And then it was me and my cousin. We both got R1s, and we went and did the track day. My cousin had a good bit of experience on the road. Him and his dad went up the mountains and did all that stuff, and done a couple track days before then. And we went and did the track day. So kind of looked to him for a little bit of guidance on it. Was super nervous on going on the road, on the street bike or on the racetrack. And then so did it. And then by the end of the day, everybody's like coming over to our pits like, who are y'all? Like, what do you mean? Like, this is our first time ever being on a track. So I was like, well, this, and I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. It was kind of sparked another fire into me to like, that I could go do something and learn new challenges and that sort of thing, where motocross for me just I was just going through the motions. It was boring. So I know that kind of sounds stupid, but when you've done something for so long, you can kind of get burnt out on it. And then, so we did the road racing stuff, and then me and my cousin did a couple other track days, and we went after the racing part of it. I mean, I think I've only been road racing technically. This is my 4th year road racing, I think. So, so.
I love it, dude. Good story, man. It is. A lot of road racers grew up motocrossing or flat tracking or both or all three, or and add a little supermoto or whatever into the mix. It's on your opinion, Jason, growing up racing motocross, what's the best skills that actually translated over into road racing?
I mean, I think everything really. I think the biggest thing that with motocross compared to road racing, with motocross, you gotta be used to the bike just moving all around under you. You control it with your lower body. You gotta be used to just weighting the pegs and all that stuff, and the bike just going everywhere. And so I think with that, for motocrossers coming over into road racing, I think that makes the transition really easy, because in order to actually go fast on a road race bike, you got to allow it to move, I feel like, and not be scared for it to, get, to move around on you, and so I think that's been the biggest thing for me that allowed me to progress pretty fast, because that wasn't anything new to me, and I think so that part translates very well. I think going fast on a motocross bike in an ever-changing track, you have to constantly take it all in very fast, and you got to adjust lines and stuff like that. I think some of the negatives to that, when I first started, the first couple of years I crashed a lot on a road race bike, was because I was used to on a motocross bike is if you had, a guy that you were close to in speed and you wanted to make up a lot of ground, for instance, if you see a guy right up in front of you and you want to catch him, you can send it into a corner, send through some braking bumps or scrub a jump harder, and you can kind of make up some ground, pretty significant ground fast. And that's the thing I've had to try to break myself with road racing is that, especially the early years of learning, is that with road racing, it's so you got to just chip away at it. You can't make it all up in one straightaway or one turn. And so I crashed a lot learning that, so, but yeah, so I think that's some of the stuff that translates and did not translate, I think. So.
Yeah, I could only imagine, it's I grew up riding motocross, but I talked a lot of shit, Jason. Yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, blah, blah, blah. I get to my first real motocross track, and I seen the triples. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. No, yeah. I'm not doing that. I'm going to go on the outside or the inside. Yeah, you guys have fun. I'm going to laugh at me all you want. It's but it taught me a lot, even though I still push myself, even though I'm a big wussy at the jumps, Jason. I am not gonna lie, right? You won't catch me doing a Superman, that's for sure. But it teaches you a lot, especially at the track and riding on the street, because I still ride on the street some. Not as much as I'd like to, but yeah, I still do. So for everybody listening, Jason, first time at COTA in Moto America, tell everybody what your team is, all the players on your team and what bike you're racing and the whole nine.
Yeah, so race BMW M1000. My team is Edge Racing. We raced a full season back in 2001. Did the stock stuff. That was my first Moto America season. Pretty much, I went from I did 2 amateur races when I started racing, and they basically kicked me out of the amateur race and put me in straight into expert. So then I was able to get enough points to basically get my Moto America license. And so the following year, after my first year of road racing, and I went straight to doing Moto America. I did the full season in 2021, and so we started Edge Racing. Edge Racing obviously came from my HVAC company that I started and owned, which is Edge Air Conditioning. And so I thought that was a nice transition to a road race team. And so my cousin Tyler Waters normally is my main mechanic and helps me. And then we have some other guys that help us, like Skip Chance. And we have basically a good group of us that road race, that road race club level, and then they will come help us here. And so it's super important to have people that you trust around you to work on your bike, because going at these speeds, you gotta, most of the stuff I do all my bike stuff on my own. I get my bikes ready during the week and stuff like that, and get them all prepped up. So I trust myself. But then when you come to these kind of events, when you come to a Moto America event, it takes a little small army, to do these events. So you got to have somebody that you trust. And this weekend, Skip's with me, and another friend of ours, Mark Faulkner, is headed this way to give us a hand. So I got 2 guys this weekend giving me a hand with Coda, and so it'd be a learning experience for me on the track. But I got a good group with me, and those guys know their way around a motorcycle. So as far as that goes, I know I'm covered and confident in what they can do. So I really just need to go put it together on the track for them, because that's one thing with me, is that it's important to me to go out and do a good job for them also, because they put in a lot of hard work. It's 100 degrees this weekend. And so for them guys to bust their butt, I want to put in a result that's respectable for them too, So, yeah, so that's kind of our weekend. We just came out of, our riders meeting, and they tell us, don't do this, don't do that, don't skip the track, that sort of thing. So, yeah, but that's our weekend. We're on a BMW, and it's a good bike. I've been riding that bike for some years now, and I got some good help from Steve Weir and BMW and all them. They've given me a lot of support, building me maps and giving me setups, and Thermosman does my chassis and suspension stuff. So I got a lot of the right people that are pointing me in the right direction, that's gotten me to this point in a pretty, I feel like, in a fast manner for road racing. To be only my 4th year in it and be able to do it at this level is pretty cool,
Oh, absolutely. And you say you're not a legend, but you raced 2 races of amateur, got kicked out immediately to expert, and went Moto America racing. Absolute legend, Jason. Absolutely, man. Look, even Stuart Lancaster says Jason is the man. Absolutely, he is, right? Yeah. Stuart, yeah. And then my good buddy Jake Marsh, all the way from BSB, he says Chris is coming with all the podcasts. Thank you, Jake. You're an absolute legend. So Jake races in BSB. This is actually him. He was in the GP2 class, which races with the 600s. And his dad, they run RD racing out there, and they're absolute legends. No, Jake, you're the absolute legend. But Skip Chance, he's a legend too, right? He actually sent me an alignment tool, and I use it religiously. I love that tool. It's very important, Jason. A lot of people don't realize, the fans will show up to the race. They'll see you walking through the paddock or in your pits, but they don't realize the work that goes in to make it all happen. Like what you said, right? And it's very important to have people that you really trust and that really is behind you and want to see you really succeed, to have the best weekend possible you can have. Because there's a lot of work that goes into that, and when you show up to a weekend, Jason, let me ask you this: things just ain't going your way, right? The bike feels like shit. That I'm chasing my tail, right? How do you overcome those mental challenges and those barriers to still find the time to have fun and still put in that hard work to overcome that?
Yeah, I mean, I think goes back to, like I said, your team. Like it goes back to the guys around you. You know, those guys kind of lift you up too. You know, like I'm hard on myself. That's just my nature. I've always been that way. Whether it's in my business, racing a motorcycle, whatever. Like, you know, I'll have them guys come over to me. My cousin, for instance, Tyler, will be like, "Man, you did amazing! Like that was so awesome." And I'm like, "It's not good enough," you know. And they all look at me like, "What's wrong with you?" And so it's just having the right people in your corner, really, because you know it's like it's inevitable. You're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have setups where you're just chasing your tail, especially like at these events, like a Moto America round. There's it's just it's so condensed, and you got to make it happen right away. You got to come right out of the gate on fire, you know. So, like for instance, this weekend, never being at this track is going to put us really on our back foot. Anytime you come in without having a good setup right out of the gate, knowing you know a good base, which we have a good base for our motorcycle, but for what I mean is the overall package, the bike, the track, you know, knowing the track and all that stuff. So you're immediately on your back foot. So, but like you said, when you're having a bad weekend or it's off, you know, it's just kind of snapping back into it and realizing that you're doing this for fun. You know, like at the end of the day, this is not. I'm not getting paid to do this. You know, I'm paying to do it. So you got to realize that I'm here because I want to be here, and that you know that it's fun. We're riding motorcycles and we're getting to do it at a high level. You know what I mean? And so that's why I enjoy doing these Moto America rounds, because you know it's it's so competitive. Like if you're a little bit off, you know, it's you're going to get swallowed up by a guy, and if you make a mistake, there's another guy by you. You know, so that's why I like, you know, I just like the competitiveness of racing a motorcycle, and that's just mine. That's what I know. You know, all the way from being a kid racing a motocross bike. So yeah. So to answer that question in a long-winded way, yeah, I think it's just having the right people around you to kind of, you know, I'd say a big thing too is my wife. I'd say that she's huge. We have a we have a we have a 3 week old that's here at the track with us. We traveled all the way from Georgia. You know what I mean? So put the baby in there, and so she loves doing it just as much as me. And so I'd say that she's a big support system to that too, because she's my biggest fan, you know, but then she can also be my biggest critic too. You know, she'll tell me like, "Hey, dude, what were you doing?" You know, like I got we got a new bike one time. It's a funny story. I'll just tell it real quick. But I got a new bike, got a new Beamer, and went out on the track. It was my first time on it. You know, and you go out on a new bike, you're making sure the levers and bars and all that stuff are. And so I'm all excited about it. Like, yeah, okay, this awesome bike. Just try it out. And I come in. I was like, "What'd you think? How did it look?" She's like, it was all right. I hope you weren't going fast or trying to go fast. I was like, babe, it's like my first time on this bike. I'm just checking it out. So it was just kind of funny. She don't won't pull any punches. You know, if I'm being a sissy or whatever, she'll tell me like, get your head out of your butt. You know, let's get with it. So that's cool. That's cool to have that support system. I mean, to have somebody that's, you know, your best friend, essentially your wife, and willing to load up a 3 week old and go racing. That's pretty cool, you know. So I don't think many people. I think that's a big part of people's success too. You know, you got to have that support system.
Oh, 110%. And congratulations on the baby. That's
Yeah, thanks,
absolutely
buddy.
amazing, dude. I got one. He's 11. I named him Nicky Hayden. I named him Hayden Rossi after Nicky Hayden Valentino.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Yeah.
he's my everything. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. And I had big aspirations, Jason. I'm like, yes, he's gonna be a world superbike legend and
Yeah.
this and that. He ain't got shit to do with motorcycles. He loves to go to the races, and he'll watch them with me sometimes on TV. But he's had 3 dirt bikes. I bought him brand new, and he just like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. You know, so I don't force the issue. But yeah, man, that's big stuff. Same thing. I have a wonderful wife that highly supports me in the podcast, because if she didn't, it would be hard for me to do what I do, right? Just same thing with you. If your wife didn't support you, you'd be like, shit, this sucks,
Yeah.
right? Now I
Yeah.
gotta.
You got to have some kind of support system in your corner. You're knocking these things out left and right. We call you the endurance of podcasts. Like you're knocking them out.
Well, thank you. I didn't realize you actually watched my podcast. It's an absolute honor, man. Thank you so much. It's and again, absolute honor to finally sit down and have this chat. And I can't wait to meet you at Jersey, man. And we got Philip Hart up in here. He said, "What is up, guys? What is up, Philip?" He's an
Hey, Philip.
absolute legend. Hey,
Yeah, Philip's a good guy. Yeah. I was pitted by him last weekend or weekend before at Rhode Island. Philip's a good dude.
yeah, I was trying my hardest to make it to Atlanta, but I didn't end up. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. But yeah, so. But yeah, you're right. So support system. So 2024, Jason, how would you rate your season so far this year?
It's been good. It's been expected, because we had a newborn on the way, so we were kind of we did the first two Moto America rounds, and then felt like we did pretty good with those, and then we kind of took a step back from those because we knew we had a new baby on the way, so we did a lot of club stuff and riding for Pirelli and going out and doing the nationals for Pirelli and stuff like that, and we've done some endurance rounds. Those really haven't panned out the way we wanted them to because just endurance is a different animal. So we've done some, obviously did all the nationals on the club level, and then did the endurance is what I was committed to, and we've done all that and done really well at those. And so and then now we're here since we've had our little one. Now we can go back to doing some Moto America stuff. So yeah, so our season's gone really well. I think that I've been happy with it. We've been riding really well. We've been progressively getting faster and faster. So yeah, I think our season's great. I think that we've made some really good, had some good races, and had a good time while we're doing it. Really, that's it. I mean, when we do the club stuff, man, it's so laid back compared to the Moto America stuff. I feel like I do better there because I'm just like, oh, whatever. I'm just whatever. And then we go to these, I'm like holding my breath and, doing dumb stuff that I know better because I've raced motorcycles forever. So I know better to do it, but I still do it, So, but yeah, so 24 has been a great season. I think that it's been awesome to go out and do those races and go do those club races and do the endurance stuff with our friends. Had Jesse Rulin and Dan Kruger were doing the endurance stuff for Pirelli, and it just hasn't panned out for us on the endurance stuff. It's on the endurance bike is a whole different animal. Just trying to pit stop and make all that right. We just had some little nuisance stuff. So I'd say from that, we're not happy with it, but we'll try to do good at Barbara for the last, the GNF and the last endurance race. We'll try to hopefully have a good showing. We, kept finishing third, and we want to win one, So
You will.
Yeah,
100%.
That's the plan.
Endurance racing is I love endurance race too, but it's in a way it's a little bit, it's different than solos, of course, but it's also a lot more tricky and more that goes into exactly what you said, timing the pit stops and the tire changes if you guys decide on doing that. And the setup of the motorcycle is critical too, right? Because you got 3 different people, different shapes, different sizes, different weights, different riding styles, harder, softer, in between. So it's that balance you got to find to accommodate all 2 or 3 riders. Again, everything's got to come together in order for you to succeed, right? It's the same thing. Jason, it's funny. You said it earlier. My mama always said it takes a village to raise a child. I'm like, you're right, 100%, but it takes a village to raise one road racer too as well, right? You can implement the same thing. Man, I'm super excited for you at COTA. Never been there too, bro. You're gonna absolutely love it. Turn 1 is like, I remember when I showed up and I've seen turn 1, and it's a proper hill. Like that looks like a lot of fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm excited about it. Like I said, the past 2 years that we've tried to get here, and it's just something, life, work, something comes up and you just can't, it didn't work out, so the past, 2022 and 2023, we weren't able to come out. So this year we're like, we're doing it. We're going to make it happen. So, yeah, I'm excited. I've been watching this track for some time. And like you said, this is a proper track. This is a world-class track. So I'm super, super pumped to ride it. And I think we were looking at the track and it looked like they've done some paving to it. So it looks like we've got some new pavement and stuff. So that I like that because that actually helps me a little bit. Some of them guys that know where the bumps and that sort of thing is, it kind of will maybe make the playing field a little more even, you know. So yeah, so we're pumped on it. Yeah, going back to endurance racing stuff, I had an extra challenge to that because I do standard shift because I'm a motocross guy, so I don't do GP shift, and so we had to make up a little quick change for the so the other two guys could go back to GP shift, and they're like, "Can you just learn GP shift?" So I've tried it, and it's just built into me from racing motocross for so long. It's like this whole other aspect that I got to think about that I don't think about if I'm just standard shift. So it's just so yeah, endurance is definitely challenging for us, but I don't help that situation at all. But yeah, there's Coda's going to be fun. We're pumped on that. Yeah, so hopefully close out the season strong and do these last two rounds of Moto America and then do the GNF and try to get ready to put together a good strong program for next year. We're trying to put some stuff together for next year to kind of maybe make a more go after the whole Moto America season next year and put together a little bit better team where we have the same guys every weekend and do some testing and try to actually put a lot of effort into that, you know, to do it the right way or the best that we can with our budget, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And it takes a lot. Again, it's the whole effort, the whole team that's comes together like Voltron. I remember you grew up watching Voltron, right? Yeah, all the lines
Yeah,
coming together. Yeah, same thing. It's absolutely. So, and my buddy Emmanuel says, congratulations on your little one.
yeah, that's nice. Thanks,
Yeah,
appreciate it. We've had a lot of people reach out to us about it, and that's pretty cool. You know, that's it's cool to see people show us love for it, and that's awesome. You know, because that's one thing about motorcycles, even with with motocross and transition to road racing. Like people take the shirt off their back to give you help you if you need it. So that's one thing that's really cool about the motorcycle community is that it's very much a family affair. You know, so
it is. It is. And I call it our beautiful circus because that's what it is, right? We're all in this
for
beautiful
sure.
circus, whether it's dirt or pavement, just the whole two wheels in general is a circus. And just like every
Yep.
circus, Jason, you always have some clowns in it too, right? So,
Yeah. I'm trying to stay off that list of being a clown. So
oh, come
yeah.
on now, Jason. I know you're out there running around causing havoc.
Yeah. Well, there is definitely some shenanigans that go on. So
Well, good. You can tell me all about those here in 1 second. We got Keith Kelly that says he got to watch you rip last year at Pan Am. So much talent. Yeah, again, dude, you're a legend, Jason. Told you. Yeah, even everybody else is saying you're a legend. So shenanigans, Jason. What kind of shenanigans you like to do? Are you a prankster at the track?
not too much on the pranking side, but we like to get a little wild on the. We've got some. There may be some videos circulating of some rental golf carts, doing some stuff that they maybe shouldn't be doing, and so yeah, we've got into some trouble, maybe racing some rental cars and that sort of thing. Yeah, so yeah, we like to enjoy our time off the track also. So I had some people who were like they're like y'all aren't around after yeah, I mean you're cutting into my shenanigans time right now because it's like we get the bikes ready and then we disappear to go get dinner and it's like y'all aren't around. I was like, no, we like to have a good time after the race too, so that's what we're here for. So
That's right. For a good time. We're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time for sure.
that's
Right.
right. If you're not having a good time, what are you doing it for?
What are you doing it for? That's right. And then
Yeah.
Philip Hart actually says Jason got a couple wins against the legend Jeff May 2 weekends ago. It was proper mega epic.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was excited about it. I mean, I was excited just to get to race Jeff there. That's his home track, and he's really good there. So to be able to go out and battle with him, that's one thing that I like about the Moto America stuff. That there's, everybody here's fast, right? And so, when we did the club stuff and May shows up, I'm excited about it because it's somebody to go out and battle, to push yourself and go out there. And he pushed me all the way around the track. I think that, Jeff's retired, so I think he probably hadn't rode a bike in a year, so I think, he jumped off the couch and came out there to race. And so I think if he was and I guess I'm taking it away from myself a little bit, but I think that if he was actively racing for a year, it would maybe have been a little bit tougher, but he pushed me around the track all the way around the track, and I had to do, good lap times, watch my lap times the whole time. So I was pumped on it, but this kind of goes back to where everybody gives me a hard time. I think I don't give myself enough credit sometimes, but yeah, I mean, it was cool to battle with him and that track. He knows that track, and Jeff's a real cool guy. He came over to me afterwards and told me he was pumped for me that I rode really well, and he told me, hey, you got some lines that you can clean up here, and told me, how to go faster on the track, and that's really cool, for somebody of his caliber to come over and offer up advice, free. He didn't charge me for it. I mean, I think he gets paid to do that, at times to do some, some training with some guys and stuff like that. So, yeah. So, I mean, I think that kind of goes back to what we're saying about the motorcycle community. I think everybody wants everybody to do well. I think that, I want, our buddy Jesse, he's a little, a second or so slower than me at some other tracks, but he's my friend. I want him to go fast. I want us all to go fast. If we got 10 guys up there that are doing great times and we're all within, right there battling, but we're all putting in good times, that's awesome to me. I don't, it's not fun to go out and just win, by yourself and be a lonely first. It's fun to go out there and earn it. You know what I mean? Like really battle it out. So that's one thing that, talking about that race with Jeff, it was cool because I knew I had to bring my A game to win, So, yeah, so that's cool.
For sure. I totally see what people say. You're right. You need to give yourself more credit. Jason, you got to, man. Let's go. I
just try to do my thing and fly under the radar and go out and have fun and go race and be competitive. And that's kind of me. I'm not very flashy. I'm not like, look at me, I'm just here to go out and ride my motorcycle and do the best I can at it, so.
I do. A lot like me. I'm a very humble guy too myself. It's hard for me to. I don't never like to say the word. I got fans, right? I just don't. It don't sit well with me. I got a lot of friends, right? That's what I say. I always say none of us are strangers. We're just friends that haven't met yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, but listen, Jason, we're a little bit over 30 minutes into this. I know you got to go get to your shenanigans. You got a little baby to tend to. But before we get off here, I want to ask you a couple personal questions.
Yep.
And I want to start off by my last guest. I had Miranda Kane on BTR. She has a question, and her question for you, Jason, is what has been your favorite fan moment?
Fan moment. I mean, I think just when the kids come up and they're like pumped on just to check your bike out and they're just in awe. Like, I think that's pretty cool. I think I had a moment where, somebody just see me go around the track. It's like the first time ever being at a track, and I think that I was going pretty good, was fast, and was kind of stand out, I guess, compared to the other people that are there. And it's just come up to me and just completely shock and wow of like, just shocked that the motorcycle can do that, And I think that's pretty cool, to see that people, get to see that is, pretty cool to see their response to something they've never experienced before. And so that would be my coolest fan moment, is just kids coming over and just being just kind of in awe of it. So I think that's really the coolest stuff, really. That would be the coolest fan moment, I'd say, is really just seeing the kids' reaction to stuff.
Yeah, nothing like seeing smiles on kids' faces. It's like, me personally, because I'm a dad, so I can speak of this. It's when you hold your child, male or female, for the very first time, your life instantly changes. There's a certain, I don't know if it's in your brain or a switch or whatever it is, flips, and it's like you see the world different. You see things differently, right? Even though you always said, I will never see that any differently. This is what I blah, blah, blah. Now I'm like, yeah, I was absolutely, totally wrong, right? It's absolutely, everything's different. It's
yeah.
And
that, sure.
That's the main reason why, honestly, I do this podcast, and I tell everybody that is for one day when I'm not here, my son can always go back on Spotify and all that good stuff, and see his daddy do what he loves to do. You know what I mean? But yeah. So let me ask you this: are you a coffee drinker?
No. I drink these these little energy drinks. I wish I was sponsored by them, but I'm not. But yeah, so yeah, I drink these. I'm not a coffee guy. I just always drink the little energy drinks. I'm not real big on them. I'll drink like one a day or something like that. But coffee's not my thing. I don't like coffee. Tastes good. It's awesome, but the aftertaste gets me. I don't know what it is about it.
I feel you. I like coffee. There's certain ones that I don't like. Starbucks coffee. If like a macchiato or something like that, I'll drink. But with their regular coffee, I don't care what it is. It tastes totally burnt. I'm like, I'm not paying $6 for a burnt cup of coffee, right?
Right.
Like, not gonna do it. It's like going out and getting a grilled cheese and you get it and it's like just solid black. You're like, yeah, I'm not paying for that. I'm not eating that.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Right. Yeah.
Philip Hart actually has a question for you. He says, you may not want to answer, but what are your plans for 2025 and what bike are you going to be on?
We're still that part's still up in the air. I mean, BMW obviously is my bike of choice right now, and I got a lot of help from them guys. So that's our plan as of right now, unless I get some kind of other opportunity, but yeah, that's the plan as of right now is keep running my program. And one thing I like about running our own program is that we get to make the decisions and we don't have to answer to anybody. I'd like to get sponsors in, get some proper sponsors in to help us run this thing, because it's not cheap to do this. So, like I said, Pirelli stepped up huge this year for me, and they've allowed me to go and do as many races as I have with their support at the club level. It's tough because there's, when you get over here, you have to pay for tires and stuff like that. I think that's across the board for most everybody here. But yeah, so I'd like to get some good sponsors in to help us. But Beamers for now, they've been good to me, and I got a lot of support and a lot of parts and a lot of testing and riding, and so that's the plan as of right now. But if somebody comes knocking on my motorhome door now and asks me to ride a motorcycle, I'm not going to turn them away either.
Sign me up, Captain. Put me in the game, Coach.
Exactly. Give me a shot.
That's it. Let's do it. Well, listen, I guess we'll know if we see that sweet BMW up for sale and all the spares.
Yeah, that might be a sign, right? Yeah.
Just a little, right? Yeah. So stay tuned, people. You'll see it, right? So let me ask you this, Jason. Tell us something we don't know about you at all.
I don't know. I don't have a good answer to that. Something you don't know about me. I don't really. I'm pretty boring, man. I don't really got a good answer for that, man. I own an air conditioning company, I think, but you know that on Facebook, so I don't really know. Yeah.
All right. Why don't you think about that? I will say that for part 2 of the podcast.
Maybe say it next part 2. I'll put something together for you. I'll probably have a lot of things you don't know about me.
I'm sure your wife's probably back there going, "Oh, and this, and don't forget to say this." Yeah, that's my wife. Thing. She'd be like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, and then my good mate and legend himself too, Paul McKee, says, "Congrats on the awesome wear season, brother. Good luck this weekend. Go get them."
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Absolutely. So, Jason, then what is your worst habit?
Probably chewing my nails. My wife, I chew my nails like crazy. We'll get in deep thought, and I'll just start chewing my nails, and she's like, looks at me and wants to punch me in the head going down the road because it's annoying, So.
Yeah, I used to chew the what out of my nails all the time too. My wife be like, "Dude, you got to stop. Like, what is wrong with you?" But I like really hot, spicy food stuff. So she's like, "I'm gonna put hot sauce on your fingers." I'm like, "Okay, that works for me."
Yeah,
right? I even do it more.
Add to the flavor, right?
Right, I'll do it even more. Yeah, it's good stuff. So listen, I'm a big audiobook. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. Right, I don't really read a lot. Well, shop manuals when I'm working on my bike, right? But is that something you do too as well, Jason? Is listening to the audiobooks or read?
Nah, I'm not big on any of that stuff, man. I'm committed to running a business and raising kids and working and riding motorcycles, man. I don't get much time to do much else, really. It's crazy. It's crazy, like how much effort goes into all this stuff. I don't think a lot of people realize what it takes to do, to have a normal life and also try to run a race program.
Oh, I could. Listen, you say I'm busy with the podcast. I could only imagine that what it takes, because it's a big juggling act. It really is. The home life, the work life, the customers, the bike, the testing. We're going here, the travel, the whole nine. It's definitely a lot to it. So, do you listen to any podcasts at all? Like when you're driving to work or?
I used to listen to podcasts. I used to listen to Steve Mathis with Pulp MX, the motocross podcast stuff. So when I was big to doing motocross, it's funny because when I got into road racing, I just jumped in. Like I literally turned off my brain for motocross altogether and just went straight road racing. So not so yeah. I used to listen to that podcast a lot, but yeah, not a lot. I mean, a lot of times I'm so busy with work, I'm on the phone or whatever. Sometimes when I'm driving, I don't even get time. Won't listen to podcasts because sometimes it's just nice to just have the silence driving home from work. You know what I mean? So how ridiculous that sounds, but sometimes I'll just find myself driving with no sound. You know.
Jason, listen, I'm no sound, radio off, windows down. Just let me just breathe and just take it all in. Right? It's something I tell everybody. It's like whatever day, once a day, take that time. If it's 5 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever it is, live in that moment, enjoy that moment. Right? Whatever it is, whether you're at work, that silence, because I really enjoy that silence. I do. It's Yeah, man, for sure. So, are you and your wife binge watching anything on Netflix or Amazon Prime you can recommend to anybody?
We did watch White Collar. We binge watched White Collar. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a pretty good show. That's what we watched lately. I think we just finished that one, so we haven't really found one to jump into yet. We um, yeah, that's the one we watched recently. It was pretty good.
What's for dinner tonight?
I don't know. We haven't figured that out yet. I asked that right before we got on here. Like, where are we going to dinner? So that's normally that's the daily, question for everybody is what's for dinner. So there's some pretty cool places here in Austin. We come out here to MotoGP race a couple years ago, I think like 2 years ago, and there's some pretty neat places. There's like a Mexican joint. I don't remember where it's at, but I don't remember the name. I think it's Oasis or something like that. Maybe I'm saying it, but it's like overlooking like a lake and stuff. It's pretty cool. So we're gonna try to go there at some point. I don't know what's on the agenda tonight, but I'm sure we'll find somewhere cool here. Austin's a pretty cool town. When we came to watch the MotoGP round, we had a good time. We had some shenanigans on rental scooters and racing those through the downtown Austin, and we may or may not have been doubling up on them and stuff. So we had a good time. Yeah.
I can't confirm nor deny the accusations, but yes, something may have occurred. Yeah, I got you. I feel you on that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Austin's absolutely amazing. I forget the restaurant me and my buddy go to. We've been to Oasis, but this one Mexican joint we went to, they had their salsa was warm. Oh my God, it was so freaking good. And they didn't serve margaritas. All they served was chiladas, homemade chiladas. So it was different, but still good, right?
Right.
Philip Hart says, one thing many of us don't know in the paddock is how was your success in motocross?
Yeah, so my success in motocross was pretty good. I mean, I like I said, I did it all the way to a high level, Loretta Lynn's, and finished mini O's on podiums. Got a bunch of that stuff and made it all the way to the professional level. Never like on a team or anything like that. Well, I say that. Say on a professional team. We were on an amateur team. I had Suzuki rods and had motorcycles given to me. I rode for Callaway Team Green. Got paid double contingency. I made so much money racing a motocross bike. When I came over to road racing, I was like, it's like, all right. I started seeing how much tires and stuff cost and road race bikes were to build. And I'm like, all right, there's got to be some really good money in contingency. And I'm not hating on road racing, obviously, because I love it and I'm here doing it right. But I came over and I was like so stoked on I was like, we're gonna make some real money racing this stuff, because I'm like, I'm all right at this. I could do pretty good at this. And I start looking at the contingency and I'm like, wait a minute, the contingency is less than what I made on a motocross bike, and I can race like forever on a set of tires. And so it's just funny. But yeah, I rode for Team Green amateur program, and we had a Suzuki's and stuff like that. I had bikes given to me and all that stuff. And they would task me with going out and doing a lot of the amateur nationals and stuff like that. We had team gear given to me, all that stuff. So there's the motocross is really big now. I mean, it's huge. It's crazy to support. And I just wish the factory teams would get involved with road racing like they are in motocross. I mean, it would really elevate the American game. I think if they stepped in. I mean, you go to an amateur motocross event, and I don't want to hate on professional road racing in America, but it's bigger than this, And so just the fact the rigs are there, and you got, if you rode a Suzuki and you blew an engine up, you take it over to them and they pull the engine out, put a new engine for you because you're on their manufacturer brand, And so if you were a supported rider, I mean, it's pretty incredible. Obviously, motocross is a little bit cheaper sport than road racing, so I think that's a little bit easier to do too. But yes, that's been my motocross background. I mean, I did it at a very high level, all the way up to professional. Not for any big teams at a professional level, but amateur level, I was on teams. Got paid, made a lot of money. I mean, I made a lot of Team Green money for sure.
Again, Jason, absolute legend, bro. Listen to you, man. Come on, man. You got to give yourself a pat on the back, bro. It's funny what you said though. Motocross is cheaper, but we make a lot more money, and road racing is a lot more expensive. And maybe at the end of the weekend, I might have enough to pay for a set of Dunlop tires.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right.
I think that Moto America is doing a great job, and like kind of, they're. I think I watched something the other day. They said they're the second most watched motorsport on YouTube. I thought that was pretty cool to see. So behind NASCAR, so I think that Moto America is doing a good job at getting that exposure. I just think that we need to get some more. We need to get some more sponsors in here. I think the factories getting involved would be huge. The factories, the factories are involved at a certain point, but I mean, like actual factory rigs here showing up. That's what has to happen, I think, for this to grow. And I think this is a tough sport to get the younger generation, and I think they're doing a good job with the getting the Ovalis and that little, the small racing, and they're going to them Kramers for instead of taking out that Junior Cup, and they're going to the Kramers so that they can get some younger generations in here. I think that's good too. I think that's what motocross has over road racing a little bit, because you can start your kids out at 3 years old, and at 4 years old they're out racing and doing some amateur national. I mean, they're signing kids. I mean, they're signing 4 and 5, 6 year olds to factory rides in the motocross level. And so I think that's where road racing's got to kind of figure out a way to bridge that gap, and I think that's where the European stuff, I heavily watch MotoGP and World Superbike and all that stuff, and you see that they have that progression for those to just kind of transition to that. And I think that we got to get that here. I think that we got to really have that here to kind of get that, because I think a lot of people don't realize with the younger generations with the kids on motorcycles, you got the mom and dad showing up, you got the grandparents showing up, so you got a lot more people showing up at the track. So there's a lot more money being pumped into that. So anyways, I think they're headed in the right direction for that stuff. Sorry, I know that wasn't the question, but
no, yeah.
So I think that's some stuff that could help the road racing sport too, is like just finding ways to bridge that gap.
Oh, for sure. You hit it right on the head. We need factories back in our sport. I mean, without them, it's Moto America has come such a long way from what we used to be when DMG was there, right? We had 6 races a season or something. It was pathetic.
Yeah.
But after the economy hit, Wayne Rainey took over. Now we are where we are. We've come a long way, but we also need outside sponsorship like Netflix. Could you imagine if Netflix sponsored Moto America, or Disney, right? Big sponsorship, because back then we had cigarette brands. Cigarettes brought a lot. Shit, even the MotoGP, that was the main sponsorships. A lot of those teams were Camel, Marlboro, Gauloises, or whatever. Right? That's where a lot of that money come from. And without it, it's hard. It really is. Philip says, would you prefer your little boy to go to the motocross road or road racing?
I'm preferring to pick up a golf club, man. Honestly, like it's like we were looking at some of their salaries. I'm like, let's put a golf club in his hand. So, yeah, I mean, we're I'm whatever, man. I mean, you have a kid, you know how it is. You want them to do something, and then it's really up to them. Really, I have three girls also, so I have three older girls. So it's they all had motorcycles, and I got them motorcycles. I got them a PW. One of them had a Cobra because she showed a little bit of interest in it, and I thought, like, all right, I got to race her now. And it's like they're gonna choose what they want to do, man. And it's like the thing is that I guess to answer that question, I mean, obviously, I'd put him on a motocross bike because he can go and do that right out of the gate really early, and he can learn the skills on a motocross bike and motorcycle. And if he wanted to do road racing, he could do road racing. I mean, my dad actually road raced. I had no interest in road racing whatsoever growing up. All I wanted to do is ride my motorcycle or my motocross bike. All I wanted to do is race my motocross bike, and I'd make money just to be able to go racing and then make contingency to keep going racing. And so that was my thing. That's all I loved to do. And my dad was like, man, you really need to try road racing, because he did road racing, at an amateur level, and he really wanted me to road race. But like I said, it goes back to your kid's you're going to do what they want to do. You know what I mean? Like, and so, but then after all this time, when I got on a road race bike, I was like, damn it, man, I wish I would have started road racing a lot longer ago. Feel like I would have done a lot better at it. But yeah, so I mean, I think that motocross, you can start at such a young age and learn the balance and the controls and throttle control and brakes and all that stuff so early. I think that's stuff that when you do it so early, it's so built into you, right? There's just things that give you talent. Everybody's like, oh, you're naturally talented. I'm like, I'm not really that naturally talented. I just work my ass off to be better, to constantly just try to figure out ways to do stuff better and faster. And so, I think that's a lot of times what people don't understand either is that, these guys that are racing at high levels, the guys that are winning these Moto America rounds, yeah, everybody's talented, but the guys that are doing it and winning is because they put in the work and the effort to do it. Like, I think that's sometimes what gets overlooked. They think, oh, well, that guy's super talented, and I agree with that to a certain point, but talent only takes you to a certain point. It takes the person to take it to the next level. So, yeah. So to answer Philip's question in a long-winded way, I'd put him on a motocross bike. Like I said, I put a golf club in his hand, but my wife's like, no, he's going to race motorcycle. She's hardcore about it more than I am. She's like, he's going to race a motorcycle. He's not going to be a little punk. I'm like, okay. I was like, all right. Mom has spoken. So.
Mama Bear has spoke. That's all that needs to be said. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. And you're right. It's plus you get, they learn so much, especially because we're all little sponges at that age. We take everything in, right? Yeah, I hear you. Well, listen, we're almost an hour into this, Jason. I'm not going to keep you any longer because I know you're hungry. I know that, baby, you want to go be with your family and go out and eat. And there's probably still a lot you got to do with the team. First and foremost, again, it was an absolute honor. Looking forward to part 2. We will set one up. But when we end this video, I just need you to stay for one question. For my next guest, listen, everybody, if you're there at COTA this weekend, please stop by, say hi to Jason. Do you have any merch to sell, T-shirts or hats or anything, Jason?
I don't. I'm terrible about that stuff, man. I need to do better about that. But yeah, I don't have any. I need to get some. Maybe next year with the plan. Like I said, this plan for this year was a little condensed, so we didn't really know what it was going to look like. So yeah, so we'll have some next year. But yeah, come by. Anybody come by and say hey. And I like I said, we keep to ourselves, but we're friendly over here. We just kind of keep to ourselves and do our thing. But yeah, come say hey to us. We're here.
Or catch him around the paddock after hours being a hooligan on the scooters.
Yeah, if you see us doing something, just turn the other way. Just we try to keep our Edge Racing shirts off during those times, but you might catch them in there a little bit.
Or join us in the fun, right? Because that's what we're there to do, is have a lot of fun. Right. Well, listen, it's been an absolute honor. Thank you so much. Before we get off here, Jason, do you want to give all your shout outs, your sponsors and all that good stuff? Or
yeah, man, I'd like to thank Pirelli, K-Tech, Thermos Man, KYT Helmets, Dainese, just everybody that makes this stuff go for us. Vortex, EBC brakes. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of people. Edge air conditioning. All everybody that's at our air conditioning company. Thank you to them. The hard work that they put in. You know, those guys make the wheel go around when we're at doing these events and stuff like that. So yeah. Thanks to everybody that helps us put this bike on the track. BMW.
I love it. I love it. And again, thank you everybody that watched this. If you guys caught it midway or didn't catch it from the beginning, as soon as I stopped this, you can go to YouTube and rewatch it. Tomorrow, this episode will be out everywhere but Apple. I'm not on Apple yet because I need a new laptop, Jason. So I've been saving my pennies for a new laptop. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Stay tuned because I have 2 more podcasts coming up this weekend. And yeah, thanks for everybody and all my sponsorship. Next Level Financial, Bison, Chef Eats. Jason, that's what I meant to ask you. Have you heard of Chef Eats or eaten any Chef Eats?
I haven't had one of their meals, but yeah, I've seen them. I think them guys are helping out a lot of people too, which is cool. You know, I think that's really cool that he's involved in the sport. That's what we need. You know, I think he races. Does he race or something?
Yes, he does. Absolutely. Yeah. Club levels. Yeah. Jeff Servin. He's an absolute legend, dude. I need to get y'all 2 hooked up because his meals are absolutely amazing. No, yeah, I don't get paid to say that.
I need some right now. Yeah.
I know, right? I know. I'm going to let you go, Jason. Quit giving me a hard time. I'm just messing with you. Listen, this has been a lot of fun, but I will. You need to try Chef Eats. It's absolutely amazing food. But yeah, thanks to all my sponsorship: Flying Eyes Optics, Chef Eats, Bison, RD Racing, Jake Marsh, Vetutrack, SFL Mini, GP, 64 Degree Racing, and the Clothing Kings. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Stay tuned for Jason Waters Part 2 coming up soon, and yeah, we'll see you guys soon.